What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. We got some really cool stuff coming up on the channel. I was able to secure tickets to AEW Rampage Grand Slam in September. I'm gonna go to the All Out screening in my local movie theater also in September, Labor Day weekend. Got some cool interviews coming up with some really awesome people, and just a whole lot of stuff. So keep it locked right here for everything. But for today's vlog, I wanted to get in wanted to review WWE Summerslam 2022, which took place. Today's Monday as I'm recording this, so it took place this past Saturday from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, home of the Tennessee Titans. And what do you call it? It was this SummerSlam was unique because it was the first SummerSlam without Vince McMahon at the helm. If you've been following the professional wrestling world, which I know most of you don't really, but so let's get into that story. So Vince McMahon, owner of the WWE, well, former creator, owner, chairman, all of that good stuff of WWE, was forced to retire due to a pending federal investigation that he used company money to hide an alleged sexual relationship with a former WWE employee, and he, as a result of those allegations, he decided to step down, and now there is a whole federal investigation involved, and his son-in-law Triple H and his daughter Stephanie, who is married to Triple H, are well, not owners, but they have a very brief role within WWE. Triple H is the head of creative, and Stephanie is the acting CEO, and so Triple H being the head of creative means hopefully a better product. And Saturday Night SummerSlam was the first pay per view where he was solely in charge of the show, and I have to say it definitely is a better product. I enjoyed what they did, and we're just gonna get right into it, man. So first kicking off the night was the Raw Women's Championship. It was Bianca Belair defending against Becky Lynch. So the story here was last year at SummerSlam 2021 that Becky Lynch returned after a almost a year absence because she had given birth to she and Seth Rollins' first child, and she went and defeated Bianca Belair, who was the SmackDown Women's Champion at the time, in a record 26 seconds. So, and then after a year of so Bianca had won the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 38 and back in April, and Becky Lynch has been trying to get that championship back ever since Bianca Belair won it from her in an awesome match. So it was pretty much a long-term story within WWE, which you don't see a lot of anymore. So it was basically the year-long culmination of an intense rivalry, and after a great opener and great back-and-forth match, Bianca Belair ended up coming up with a win over Becky Lynch. I don't know if you caught it on camera, but I noticed as I was watching, Becky seemed to have hurt her arm, and it seems to have been a legit injury. So we'll see what happens with that. But that wasn't all that happened in the opener. a couple of superstars made their return. One being Bailey, who has been on the shelf for well over a year with a torn ACL. She made her return last night. Very, very important anchor in the women's division. And Io Shirai, who was in NXT, which is the WWE's developmental brand, she made her main roster debut. Now she goes by Io Sky. So she had gotten injured back in April and had been off NXT television since then, and now she made her main roster debut, which means she's either going to go to Raw or SmackDown. And also there was another return in the form of a former NXT women's tag team champion, Dakota Kai. She had been released by the WWE, I believe earlier this year, or it might have been last year, but she was released by WWE during a massive wave of superstar releases, and Triple H, who was very high on her because Triple H used to run NXT, so he was very high on her, and he was able to bring her back. And it'll be very interesting to see where that goes. And they have revealed a new name for their sort of faction, and it is Control. So Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai will be known as Control. As for what brand they're on, Raw or SmackDown, that remains to be seen. And then in the next match, you had The Miz taking on Logan Paul. Now, you say what you want about Logan Paul, the person, and the social media superstar. You may hate him, but I gotta admit, man, as somebody who's been in the ring, he is quite impressive. For his second outing, he had his first outing in a tag team match against teaming up with The Miz, his opponent at SummerSlam. And they teamed up to face Rey and Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania 38 with The Miz and Logan Paul coming out on top. But it was, like I said, it was very impressive for Logan Paul's first one-on-one outing in WWE. The Miz did a very, very good job of taking care of him in there, which is what you want to do. You always want to protect your opponent and yourself at all times. But Logan Paul was quite impressive, and he just signed a long-term contract with WWE. So it'll be interesting to see where his future WWE career goes. But it is off to a great start. Next, you had what do you call it? Next was the I don't remember the order of the matches, but I do know that. Okay, so the next match that we're going to talk about is Baron Corbin, or Happy Corbin, I should say, versus Pat McAfee. Now, for Pat McAfee, a former Colts punter, and Happy Corbin used to be teammates back on the Indianapolis Colts back in 2009. Baron Corbin couldn't quite make it in the NFL, and Pat McAfee went on to have a pretty successful career. And they've been having a feud as of late over on the Smackdown brand over on Friday nights, and that came to a head last night. And Pat McAfee, another crossover star from the world, from another form of sports, going into the WWE, still very impressive, and he was able to get the win over Happy Corbin. So next it was Judgment Day, which consisted of Finn Balor and Damian Priest, accompanied by the other member, Rhea Ripley, taking on the Mysterios in a Rey and Dominic Mysterio, aforementioned, in a no disqualification tag team match. So the story here was, Edge, WWE Hall of Famer and former superstar, came back 2 years ago after an 11-year hiatus with the with a neck injury. It was thought to be career ending at the time, but he was able to come back and wrestle the 2020 Royal Rumble. Oh my God! And he won the 2021 Royal Rumble, and came back. Had a nice feud with Roman Reigns, which we'll get to later, and also Bryan Danielson, who's now in the other rival promotion AEW. They had a nice feud for the WWE Universal Championship last April. I mean April 2 years ago, I should say. Damn it. So anyway, Edge, formed a group named Judgment Day, which consisted of he and Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, but Edge was kicked out of the group and kept off WWE TV for a while, and he made his return last night at SummerSlam to get his revenge on Judgment Day and help the Mysterios secure the win in their no disqualification tag team matchup. Okay, then we had the Usos taking on the Street Profits for the Unified Tag Team Championships. The WWE Unified Tag Team Championships. Both the tag team championships of the Raw and Smackdown brand are currently held by the Usos for an impressive amount of days. I believe it's a little bit over a year that the Usos have held tag team gold. They just recently won the Raw Tag Team Championships, but they've held the SmackDown Championships for over a year. So I guess WWE is counting it cumulatively as over a year with Tag Team Gold. This was a rematch from last month's pay-per-view Money in the Bank, where the Usos defeated the Street Profits, but there was a little bit of controversy involved. One of the Street Profits' shoulders, Montez Ford specifically, his shoulder was up off the mat while the referee counted 3, and the referee didn't see it. So that's why there's this rematch. So to ensure that there was no controversy this time around, the WWE appointed a special guest referee in the form of former Hall of Famer Double J Jeff Jarrett, and the Usos managed to still pin the Street Profits in a great match. It wasn't better than their previous encounter at Money in the Bank, but it was still a great match. So the Usos continued their year-long tag team championship reign. Then we had Austin Theory taking on Bobby Lashley for the WWE United States Championship. So Austin Theory won the Money in the Bank ladder match last month after being inserted into the match by WWE official Adam Pearce. He won the match after dropping the United States Championship to Lashley earlier that night. So this was the rematch between those two, and Theory had said that he was going to walk out with both the United States and WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship, which we'll get into later on. But that didn't happen. Lashley defeated him pretty quickly. And Theory's night ended pretty quick. And then we had the SmackDown Women's Championship, which consisted of Ronda Rousey taking on Liv Morgan. So the story here was Liv Morgan had won the female Money in the Bank ladder match, where if you win the Money in the Bank ladder match, I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you win the Money in the Bank ladder match, you basically get a championship opportunity of your choosing at any time over the next calendar year for any of the singles championships. So Liv Morgan had won the Money in the Bank ladder match last month, and she had cashed in on Ronda Rousey later that night after a match with fellow WWE superstar Natalia. Um, and so this was Ronda Rousey had said that she didn't, Liv Morgan didn't beat her at 100%, and she would not beat her at 100%, and their match got cut short because I believe the Miz and Logan Paul match went over on time. When you're on WWE, you have a certain amount of time that you're allowed to be on pay per view. So I believe that match went over the time allotted for that specific match, and that's why the Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan finish was cut short. And it was bad. So Ronda Rousey had applied an armbar on Liv Morgan, and but pinned herself in the process. Had her shoulders down on the mat. She had pinned Ronda Rousey had pinned herself, and what do you call it? And that's how she lost the match. So Liv Morgan is still your SmackDown Women's Champion, and now on to the main event. So the main event was Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match for the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. So that's what they're calling it now, because it's the unification of the WWE Universal Championship on SmackDown, which Roman Reigns has held for over 2 years, and the WWE Championship, which is a Raw Championship, and so Roman had defeated Brock Lesnar for that at WrestleMania 38. So this was the culmination of their trilogy of matches for this year anyway, because they fought each other at least 6 times, but it wasn't consecutively. So it was wild, man. It over delivered. Brock Lesnar came to the ring on a tractor. And that tractor was used during the match to lift the ring and try to assist him and keeping Roman Reigns down for the count of 10, because that's what the object of the last man standing match is. You got to keep your opponent down to the count of 10. You got to incapacitate them so they cannot make that count of 10. Brock tried to use a tractor to his advantage, but it still was not enough to defeat Roman Reigns. Roman ended up burying Brock Lesnar under the announce table with steel steps and everything, and ended up winning the match. And Roman Reigns is still your WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. One thing I forgot to mention, there was a segment where Drew McIntyre came out and addressed the crowd and said he didn't care whether it was Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar who won the WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. He was going to take that from whoever at Clash of the Castle, which is their next WWE's major next event, going down a Labor Day weekend in Cardiff, Wales. It's a stadium show, first one in 30 years for WWE. The last one was SummerSlam 1992 in Wembley Stadium. So the WWE's holding a major stadium show in the UK for the first time in 30 years. So that's going to be very good. And man, can't wait for it. But SummerSlam was a good one, man, and always enjoyable. And as for the job that Triple H did, I cannot say enough about the. It feels like a breath of fresh air. For for somebody who's been watching this and has been in the ring and in the business, it's good to see a breath of fresh air. Vince McMahon may have created it, but he was at a touch, honestly. So it's good to see Triple H and the mind that he has for the business, and it's a great one. It's good to see him at the helm, and I can't wait to see what he does with the WWE going forward. So yeah, no, that's gonna do it for this vlog. Like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.